Are we at 53.3, I guess? Maybe?
2, because the other one was 1.5.
All right, 2 or 3 or some frickin' thing. Okay. So I got one thing to say. You just told a long, twisty story about the purported spy in the Trump campaign. And this brings up a fear of mine, and I think a lot of liberals, if they're not afraid of it, they should be, which is that the whole thing, the whole story. Now, Watergate ended up eventually having a fairly clean narrative. There was clear malfeasance. There was clear law breaking. There was the missing 18 minutes on Nixon's, conversations in the White. There was a bunch of smoking guns. The whole Trump thing and Russia thing may turn out to be so muddy and so complicated that there is never any clarity, and Trump may skate just on the basis of shit being confusing, and each side being able to having alternate narratives about what the deal is, and nobody is ever able to conclusively pin anything down, and stuff goes on, and we just end up with Trump for 4 years and potentially 8 years.
Well, look, there's 2 points I wanted to make. I wanted to give you the timeline, the actors, what the bad thing is that Obama did. And then I wanted to tell you the second thing, and that is, you didn't know any of the stuff I just told you. And so for you, it's very confusing.
Well, no, I understood what you were saying.
Yeah, but I mean, you just said that it's just a tangled web of things because this is the first time you've had it explained to you.
No, but it took you 5 minutes to lay everything out.
Yeah,
it's not that straightforward.
But the point is
Watergate
that your news service hasn't told you one fucking word about it.
Well, I've been on eBay all week.
No, it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't
Maybe.
have mattered. If you'd have spent the whole week on CNN, you wouldn't have heard about it. See,
Yep.
you are so effectively brainwashed.
Yeah, but you get a lot of the stuff you get is spun, where stuff that may or may not be true is presented as definitely true.
Well, no, I can look up and hear or I can actually find the testimony where Andrew McCabe says that the dossier is what caused them to get the FISA warrant. I can find that on the internet, and I can find it not on some kook with one tooth. It'll be congressional testimony.
Yeah,
It's
but
written down.
What about the thing that I saw, which is that the FISA application is 1,000 pages?
No, it doesn't matter if it's
And
1,000 pages. If it was based on the dossier,
and that the dossier in the FISA application, they explicitly state that the information was paid for to some extent by the Clinton campaign.
No, but I read what they said, and what they said was that they used this word, they used this phrase. They said this dossier may have had input from that may be somewhat political. It doesn't say on the first page Clinton paid for this.
It says somewhere in there it does.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't say the word Clinton. And it doesn't.
In the whole 1,000, no,
it never says that.
How do you know? Have you
I
read the
read
you read the 1,000-page FISA application?
The only thing that they said in the FISA application was that there may be political considerations behind some of this information.
Well, you're listening to Nunez.
No, but it doesn't matter, Rick. It doesn't matter. You cannot find the word Clinton paid for this anywhere in the application.
I think you can.
No, you cannot.
Then we'll have to. You don't have
No.
internet.
This is the thing. We have to be able to agree on facts, Rick.
Yeah, but there's so much stuff going on.
But this
some of your facts don't check out.
no. What fact is not checking out?
Well,
Is it true that McCabe said that the dossier was
I believe you on
justification?
that.
Was he the second in command of the FBI?
Yeah, but
So is
nothing
this-
in the dossier, nothing in the FISA application mentions Clinton.
No,
I don't believe that.
No,
I don't believe
but
that.
that's true, Rick. Look it up. Look it up right now. We all three of us have phones. We've got the
All right,
internet.
we're breaking
Let's look it
again.
up.
Let's break it.
Yep. You want to help, Camille? Because my phone's just getting charged up.
All right. 53.3 or 4 or some frickin' thing. All right, so I read a news story that said that the FISA application, while not mentioning Clinton specifically, disclosed that the dossier was paid for by a major political party. Now, there are only two political parties, major political parties. So, like, the judge would have to, the material was political in nature, paid for by a major political party. So, the judge wouldn't have to get a perfect score on the SAT to realize that the dossier was paid for by either the Democrats or the Republicans. And if it's, containing accusations against the Republican presidential candidate, then it probably came from the Democrats. It's not that complicated.
Okay. Well, what I read, and I can look it up again to get the exact wording, is that the FBI merely speculated that it was paid for as potential opposition research. In other words, they didn't say, okay, look, Clinton paid for this. What they did say was that there was a law firm involved named Perkins Cole that happens to be Clinton's law firm, or a law firm that works with Clinton. So what they did was they hid that information in a way that it didn't seem to matter.
Well, the
It was
application
a footnote.
The application said that the material was political in nature, potentially political in nature, because
Potentially.
it was paid for by a major political party.
No, that it might have been paid for.
Well, all right. So,
I mean, so the point is that, does it say they speculated that it might have been paid for? I believe the word
well,
speculation.
no, Nunez said it was speculation, and then the Schiff, the liberal guy, says no. It said it was paid for by a political party.
Okay, I read speculated, but the point I'm trying to make is this.
But in either case,
In either case, what the FBI should have done was said, this was paid for by Clinton. Not we speculate, or it might have been, or it involved Perkins Cole. If you want to tell people Clinton did this, then that's what you say. And they didn't say that, because who the hell is going to read 1,000 pages? The judges are just as dumb as everyone else. And they said it in such a way that it would be confusing.
well, somebody should interview the judge and ask.
Well, it may be that the judge was Sally Yates, who was one of the people that was fired by Trump for refusing to carry out his orders.
yeah, on immigration.
Yeah, that's how crazy she was.
Well,
So the point I'm trying to make is,
not that
look,
crazy.
okay, to disobey a direct order from the president when you're working for the president, aren't you supposed to carry out the law?
Yeah, and so I don't think she found what he was, and a number of courts found what he was asking for at that point not lawful. It got
It's
kicked back.
not lawful to say to tell illegal aliens to leave the country.
Yeah, that thing got kicked back by a number of courts and had to be rejiggered for almost a year before
Okay.
it could pass muster.
It passed muster. Rick,
Legal muster.
if you're illegal aliens, you can be told to go home. That's the law in this country. Just like I don't need proof that you can not murder somebody.
Courts rejected that whole deal a number of times.
Yeah, they
before.
went to left-wing courts that
Right.
were willing to change the law. All I'm saying is this: if we found out that Romney had hired the FBI to put a spy in the Obama campaign, you would have heard about it every hour of every day for the past week. You didn't hear word one about this spy until you were driving down here with our director.
I didn't hear the details, but the spy's been covered. But I mean, yeah, I've listened to a lot about the royal wedding just incidentally, but the spy has been covered by my liberal sources.
Yeah.
I just didn't pay much attention because I was shopping this week, because I gave up. This is the week I gave up, but I know it was mentioned, and it was in the New York Times, as you said, a liberal newspaper, according to your ranking of stuff.
But you're still not impressed by this whatsoever. You think Obama should be able to put a spy in the Trump campaign based on a dossier written by the Russians?
I like having internal affairs people in every frickin'. I mean, look at.
Rick, you're evading the subject.
Yeah, a little bit. But let's move on to something else.
No, don't move on. The Russians paid for the dossier.
The Russians paid?
The Clinton paid the Russians to come up with stories about Trump's sex life. The FBI went to the FISA court.
The dossier wasn't just about his sex life.
It doesn't matter. It was written by the Russians. That's where Steele got the information.
It wasn't written by them.
Yes, it was.
He asked them.
He gave them the information. The Russians gave Steele the information. He typed it.
Yeah.
Now, you think that on the basis of information coming from the Russians, paid for by Clinton, the Obama administration should be able to use the FBI to put spies in the opposing candidate's campaign?
That's kind of how that works. If you hear a bunch of scuttlebutt, you have an obligation if it's.
So he was a patriot. Obama was doing this because he cared about America. He was so worried that Trump was having sex with whores that he needed to use the FBI.
You love to say that that's the...
He was so worried that he needed to use the FBI to put spies into the Trump campaign.
Maybe.
Because Trump was having sex with prostitutes.
You like to characterize the whole thing as...
That's what it says in the dossier, Rick.
That's like, what, 15% of the dossier?
But those are the charges against Trump. Fucking prostitutes. That's what Clapper, the head of one of the intelligence agencies, released to the New York Times.
Along with the fine...
Which, by the way, is illegal. So you think it's okay for the Obama administration's intelligence agencies to release unverified sex rumors to the New York Times? You think that's a good thing?
That's not the best thing, but that wasn't the entire dossier.
That is what happened. That is what happened. The head of one of our intelligence agencies, Clapper, released a rumor to the New York Times that Trump was having sex with prostitutes.
Okay, so there's
Do you think that's good?
I'm not too bothered by it because I don't like Trump.
The New York Times says that the FBI was investigating, not spying.
Yeah,
So you think that's the way things should be done? If Trump gets a hold of the FBI and the CIA, and he pays for information from the Russians saying that Bernie Sanders is having sex with prostitutes, he should be able to put spies in Bernie Sanders' campaign, right?
that's not how...
That is what happened, Rick, in reverse.
That's spinning it a little bit.
But no,
or
it isn't.
A lot.
It isn't. Hillary paid for the Russians
I know the
to
whole
say
fuck-
that
you don't have to
Trump
say it all
was
over again.
fucking prostitutes. But I'm just wondering, where does the logic break down, Rick? Where are you unable to make the connection?
If investigation or scuttlebutt
Coming from the Russians.
indicates that the Russians are meddling with our election,
We're not talking about that.
but we are to some
No.
extent.
We're talking about a story that Clinton gave money to the Russians. She paid the Russians
So
to
she
come
paid
up with
Michael
this story.
Steele $200,000.
Who got the information from the Kremlin. That's why they used him, because he was in Russia.
Because he was a Russian expert, because he was
Right.
an
That's where they got the
ex-spy.
information. They didn't get it from someone in Texas.
Yeah, because Steele is a Russia expert. He was
Right. So
it
he
was-
got the information. It was written by the Russians about Trump.
I know you don't have to explain it 50
Then
times.
why is it you don't understand?
I do understand.
You
I just-
think it's good.
Yes, that.
It's good
yes.
to put spies in the opposing candidate's campaign, and it's good to use the CIA
I'm
to do
okay
it.
with. Let's see what the investigation.
No, wait a minute. Do you think it would be good for Trump to put the CIA on Bernie Sanders?
Sure, go ahead. Put it on Jill Stein. Put it on Hillary. Put it on everybody.
So if you're president, you can take spies and you can put them in the campaigns of the opposing campaign. You can use the CIA to find out as much as you can about the opposing campaign. You can actually put them inside. Who are you going to vote for? Jill Stein next time, or Kamala Harris, or whatever?
Oh, Jill Stein's a retard.
Who are you going to vote for? The Mohican? What's her name?
Oh, are you gonna
the
racially
Indian- the
slur
Indian lady?
Elizabeth Warren?
Yeah. Are you going to vote for Warren? If she's running, does Trump get to put the CIA into her campaign?
As long as every campaign has some internal affairs person. Look at how
No,
effed
but
up.
they don't have one, Rick. Do you think Trump should be able to put the CIA into the Warren campaign?
Okay, sure.
All right.
All right, what's next? Royal wedding? What are we going to talk about?
Just really quick, the Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, notified members of Commerce Wednesday that he has completed his report. And
On
the
what?
finished report is into the Justice Department and FBI's 2016 investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of private email server. It says, while the finished report has not been made public, one report suggests Horowitz will announce the DOJ and FBI broke the law in their handling of the case.
What, that they went too far?
Well, it says that they broke the law in handling that.
Abuse of power.
In going after Hillary?
No.
All right. In what? In what?
As noted, the report that they can privately, let's see, those invited to the review were told they would have to sign non-disclosure forms.
Yeah, all right. So we all know exactly
No,
what
we
to do.
do know. We do know. They allowed her to obstruct justice. They allowed her to destroy evidence.
That's not it, right? That's not it.
That's what it's about, yeah.
Yeah, she destroyed 30,000 emails. That's obstruction of justice.
Is that what it's about?
DOJ and FBI broke the law in handling the case.
Yeah. If
Well,
Rick,
read the pertinent part of the article.
It says, a report has completed its report into the Justice Department and FBI's 2016 investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server.
Yeah. So, but where's?
And it reads that Harwood said the Justice Department and FBI will be permitted to submit a formal response that will be attached in the final report. The report is expected to be very critical of the several top DOJ officials, including former FBI Director James Comey's announcement in July 2016 that Ms. Clinton had been reckless with the nation's secrets, but he was recommending against prosecuting.
So, they didn't like that he said she was reckless. That's the problem they had.
No, what?
You know, that just came out of his article. So,
Okay.
all right.
Yeah, but
so,
that's
so you're. This says that the DOJ screwed up, or the FBI, or Comey screwed up. You're saying no, that Hillary. It sounds like you're spinning or saying something that doesn't agree with the article.
Well, according to this, investigative reporter Sarah Carter said on her website Thursday that Horowitz's
Don't move your
draft
hand.
is described by one source as extremely long and thorough. It's not gonna be good. It's just a question of how bad it's gonna be. A former Justice Department official told CNN on what's expected to be in Horowitz's report. So
All right.
any comments, anything you want to add to
Well, we
that?
just talked about it. Lance thinks it's going to be bad for Hillary, and I think, according to what you just read, that it's going to be bad for the FBI in dealing with Hillary. So that's it. Let's move on to the next thing.
well. You don't think it's bad that Hillary put a private server?
That's not
in
what
her
the
closet?
investigation was
Yes,
about.
it is. Yeah.
No, it's about how it's bad that Comey said she was reckless. So let's not rehash that whole fucking thing.
What they did was they let her off the hook.
That's not
And
what the investigation is
They
about.
granted immunity to all of her people.
That's not what they're saying.
That is the investigation. I'm sorry. It's about them granting immunity.
That's
to
not
them.
what the director just read. He said that what was bad is that Comey was editorializing that she was reckless. So anyway, we're going to find out what the results of that investigation, if they're not confidential, will be revealed, and then we can talk about it next week. But until then, let's move on.
There was also the shootings in Santa Fe, Texas.
All right, so 10
Santa Fe
dead
High
people.
School.
Yeah, Santa Fe High School in Texas. Do we need to talk about that?
Oh, well, I
mean,
just keep saying the same thing. We need to arm the teachers. If there had been if every teacher at that high school was armed, he would have been shot in the art class. The guy next door was a Marine. He could have come next door and shot the guy. But the Democrats won't let teachers get armed. So as a result,
that's what we have to do. So we're not going to do anything about limiting guns or making like parents liable for letting their kids get at their guns, because this was the dad's guns.
Yeah,
These were the dad's guns.
Yeah. Okay. So
that guy should either go to prison or have his ass suit off. He let his 17-year-old kid at his
but
gun.
the kids would still be dead. So I'm trying to come up with a solution, and you're trying to be a good
Where'd you
Democrat.
get that solution, arm the teachers? You didn't come out. That didn't come straight
I've
out of your
always
head.
thought that. And you just want to be a Democrat.
I don't know.
Like your concern is gun control. My concern is saving the kids' lives.
Yeah, I talked to my wife works in a high school. I said, "You want a gun for your desk?"
Huh?
She's like, "No, I don't want that."
Well, I don't care what Carol wants. My concern is that if we had if part of your training as a teacher was to carry a sidearm.
Didn't they have armed guards at that school?
They had 2 armed guards. They didn't make it there in time because it's a high school. It's gigantic. They
So
weren't in the right
you
spot.
need 1 gun per every 2 classrooms, according to you?
No, I'm saying arm as many of the teachers as you can. We'll have an army of people there that would just shoot people coming in. Your Democrat plan is to just let the kids get killed. That's your plan, because they'll get a gun. I mean, I can leave this house right now, and within an hour and a half, I can find a gun.
Ooh, we should do that. That should be our next segment.
I don't think so, because we could get put in jail for that. But my point is, they're going to find a gun. There are 400 million guns in the United States.
Yeah.
What there aren't is armed teachers, and that's why they get away with
All
it.
right, what do you think about this? Oliver North, the new head of the NRA, says that it's Ritalin that makes kids all shooty.
I do think that the main reason that the kids are crazy like this is that the Judeo-Christian, we've taken God out of kids' lives. Because one of the marvelous things about religion...
What about all the other godless countries across the world where kids aren't all shooty? Japan, Britain, Australia.
Well, they have God
German.
and
Really? I mean,
Well,
people are more God-fearing in Britain, in Australia,
not in Britain, but
in Germany, in France? No, come on. In Japan?
well, what they're doing in London. Okay, if we could take all 400 million guns out of the hands of American citizens, we would definitely get less shootings.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. But my point is, until we can get all 400 million guns out of the hands of American citizens, we're going to have to arm the teachers. And because you're a Democrat, you're willing to just keep letting the kids die until you get gun control.
Well, you know what? I mean, I'm the one who asked my wife, who works in a high school, do you want a gun?
Because you're not completely brainwashed, Rick. This is the problem with you. You're still sane. There's a scintilla of sanity left in you.
I agree that with 400 million guns out there, the cows are out of the barn. But still, why not try to do like a number of different things?
Okay, one, I think that this is an inevitable result. Okay, kids don't go to church every Sunday and leave church and go shoot 10 people
Well, that
because they're afraid of God.
there have been assholes throughout history.
Not like this. And see, I mean, look.
You really think that putting this kid in church, the shooty kid, this kid that, or the kid who shot up the Florida high school?
No, I mean, okay, look. You asked me a question, so I'm trying to answer it to you. I think that there is a rise in mental illness for a variety of reasons. But I also think that once you raise a society atheist, and you have a rise in mental illness, and you have availability of firearms, and no security, you're going to have problems.
Oh, so wait, hold on. This is a similar argument to. So, just for the sake of argument, grant that. But the cows are out of the barn with atheism or whatever you want to call it. The loss of, like, not that many people are, not as a smaller percentage of people, go to church regularly compared to the 1950s,
right,
or belong to the Boy Scouts,
right,
or whatever. But the cows are out of the barn on that too. You're not going to get everybody going back to church or be in the Boy Scouts. So what are you going to do? You want to arm teachers.
Yes.
All right. What about the idiot from the idiotic statement about too many doors from the lieutenant governor of Texas?
The problem is that when you leave the East Coast, all of the schools, most of the schools in the West and in the South are big.
Yeah.
I mean, at the high school I went to, there are 100 ways to get into it. You'd have to build a giant wall around a giant piece of property. And that's just my high school. What about the hundreds thousands all over the country?
Well, so fence people would...
Right, but we're not talking about fences because you can climb over a fence. Everything, I mean, the construction would be, it would be half the school's budget. But until
so you think
then,
the lieutenant governor guy is kind of an idiot for the door?
I have more to say.
All right.
I have more to say. I actually have a considered opinion about this. Now you said the cat's out of the barn when it comes to religion, but this is where I disagree with you. Now this is a very interesting point. I actually believe that God exists, and I think that right now we're going through a period of atheism, but I think because God exists, people may go back to believing in God again. If in other words, God can take care of himself. Yeah, I don't think you need to sell God like you sell shoes.
You know what does a lot of harm to God is evangelicals who've changed their standards to excuse Trump and excuse a bunch of not great politicians.
This is a real reach.
Not really.
This is a real reach.
No, when young people look at old politicians like Franklin Graham, who say that Trump is now a godly man after not being a godly man, when he's obviously still kind of the same dick he's always been, but hasn't been caught banging anybody since 2012 or so.
Listen, it's because of you that North Korea may disarm its nuclear weapons. And you're willing to tell me you'd rather have a godly man like Obama.
Do you think Trump is godly?
Yeah, godly is as godly does.
You really think he's a good Christian, Trump?
If his behavior is,
or do you just like him because he's on your side?
Actually, no. I think this is what's so weird. You don't understand religious people. Religious people believe that what you do is more important than what comes out of your mouth.
Well,
you see, you were telling me how cool Obama was, that he just had this elegant quality. That's because he liked to stab you in the back. That was his style. When Trump opened, you know what Trump did this week? He opened the embassy in Jerusalem.
Yeah, because it's good for people who believe in the end time.
No,
the evangelicals.
No, it's because it's good for Israel. I'm a big believer in America supporting Israel. And he did more for Israel by doing that
Yeah,
than
but also
Obama did in 8 years.
Also, evangelicals
I don't care about your evangelicals. That's Democrat propaganda.
It's not.
The Republicans, the Israelis have wanted their capital in Jerusalem for 70 years. Before there were evangelicals doing this. This is Democrat propaganda. They wanted it. They're now naming streets after Trump in Israel because this is such a momentous occasion. Finally, Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, recognized by the U.S. And when the Palestinians attacked Israel, and Israel was forced to kill 60 of their soldiers,
And
pretending
injured
to be civilians, but it was Hamas actually claimed it. Hamas said, no, the 60 they killed were their soldiers. When they did that, instead of John Kerry saying both sides must show restraint, which is what the Obama administration did for 8 years, Trump said Israel has a right to defend itself. Now, to me, that's as godly as you get.
6 years ago.
And
6 years ago,
and-
20% of evangelicals said that politicians' personal behavior didn't
yeah,
matter.
we did this, and I told
Yeah.
you. And
now it's 71% saying it doesn't matter.
yeah, because
Because you might want
evangelicals,
to.
evangelicals have grown up. There's such an easy argument against that, Rick. Evangelicals have realized.
No, evangelicals have become hypocritical.
No,
so
not
if you-
hypocritical. No, wait.
So when you look at people turning
I'm
away,
not letting
looking
you
at
get-
if
I'm
you
not
when
letting
you
you do that.
look at young
You
people
finish it.
turning away from God, think about having a parent who is trying to raise moral kids, but the parent supports Trump, who it seems quite immoral in a number.
Actually,
of,
you know what David did? King David.
yeah,
Do you know what he did?
Yeah, he killed somebody because he wanted to bang that
He
wife.
killed Uriah. He killed Uriah so that he could have sex with Bathsheba.
Yeah.
But King David was still considered a good king, a great king. See, the evangelicals have done what religious people in many societies over the centuries have done.
They become
They have
hypocritical.
learned that it's more important
To have political advantage
Okay,
than
would
to
you let
have
me get a
morality.
sentence? Would you let me finish the sentence?
Yeah.
Mr. Morality? Mr. Sexual Morality? Let me tell you something. The most important thing is that Trump bring peace and prosperity to the United States and that Trump protect the United States. It's more important than his sexual behavior. I don't care if Trump goes to orgies every night and watches golden showers. It doesn't bother me if he's a successful president. And the evangelicals have grown up and they realize that it's deeds that get you to heaven, not words.
No wonder young people are turning away from religion.
No, they're turning. Rick, there is not one single serious religious person on earth that thinks you can be a fucked, that thinks you can do evil, but have good sexual morality. Sexual morality is on a lower level than the things you do as a leader. There is no religion that says if you're a bad leader, but you don't fuck around on your wife, you're a good person. You don't understand religion. There is a.
Yeah, I'm not buying this. Anyway,
No. There is no religion that says it's more important that you're faithful to your wife than that you defeat North Korea. If you're president and you get North Korea to disarm their nuclear weapons, that's more important to God in every single religion than whether you're faithful to your wife.
Let's see if that happens. Let's see if North Korea.
Well, anything he does. If he builds a border wall, that's more important than whether he's faithful to his wife. According to all religions, all major serious religions have a hierarchy of sin. The lower sins are whether you masturbate. The higher sins are whether you save your country from enemies.
Let's see if he does that. All right, next thing.
We had a royal wedding this past weekend.
Yep.
Any comments on that?
Well, we were supposed to get half-price yogurt at Humphrey Yogurt because that was Meghan Markle's first job and they had a special. But we missed it by a day and we had to pay full price for our yogurt. It's very good yogurt, Humphrey Yogurt, but we had to. So that was a little disappointing. Lance, any thoughts?
I do. And I'm a little exhausted, but it's important that I stay strong because I'm going to explain to you guys how to choose a woman. A little wisdom about les femmes from the master. Now, there are 3 things a man wants from a woman. He wants her to be kind, intelligent, and beautiful. The truth is, you only get 1 because 2 of those goes to billionaires and 3 doesn't exist. But men keep searching.
Wait, which of the 3 doesn't exist?
You never get 3.
Okay,
all right,
so
you can't get 3 because 3 doesn't exist. If you're a billionaire or a king, you get 2. But most normal guys have to settle for 1. She can be beautiful. If she's beautiful, she's stupid and mean. If she's intelligent, she's ugly and mean. And if she's kind, she's ugly and stupid.
all right, so there's a
Now, in a way, there are women that have 2 of the qualities, but to get them, you have to be a millionaire or a king. Which leads me to answer the question. You're not letting me answer the question.
okay.
I'm trying to get some wisdom to
Well,
these
no,
people.
I'm going to agree with you, but in a less jerky way.
Okay,
Faces
it's
better for the
nothing jerky about this. All right. So, now.
You have
let
a
me-
strategy. So
Okay,
what's your
so let me
strategy
go on.
here?
Wait, now, there is a way around the problem of the 3 qualities that you can't get. 1, you only pick a woman for her looks. Now, let me explain why that is. Because if she loves you, she will be kind. The meanest woman on earth, as long as she loves you, she'll be kind. So you have to keep her in love with you. So you get the kindness and you got the beauty. So where does the intelligence come in? All right. If you want intelligence, you hang around with men.
All right.
Or, wait a minute.
All
Wait,
right, this is-
wait.
this is
If
so
you want
obnoxious.
intelligence, you read a book. All right? Now, wait. This leads me to the problem I have with Markle. Because it's all tied in with the royal wedding.
Are you saying that women are dumb?
No. What I'm saying is this prince is not very bright.
But wait, you just characterized, you say you can't get intelligence from women.
No.
Or are you
I'm
saying you can't
I'm
statistically
I'm-
get it
no,
because all
you
this...
can't get all 3.
All right,
You
okay.
can pick intelligence, but then you don't get looks or kindness. So,
Well, here,
so
let me agree with you to some
wait,
extent.
let me just get to the
All right,
prince,
all right.
and then you can give me your opinion. Now, the problem I'm having with this prince is that this Markle woman has no intellectual accomplishments.
What have you...
She doesn't. She's an actress. She doesn't have.
She speaks out for stuff.
She's not. She doesn't have a PhD in physics.
No,
He-
but
wait,
she
he can
has a
pick-
BA. And
He can pick any woman on earth, right?
she went to Sacred Heart. She went to a really good
All right, all
school.
right. He
She's-
can get a PhD in physics that could have been an underwear model and loves him and is really kind, but he didn't. So what that tells me is that intelligence was not how he was choosing his woman.
He chose somebody
She's
he liked.
not the brightest woman he could have found.
No, but she's not stupid.
She's not stupid, but it wasn't based on intelligence. So that means intelligence is not his priority. He's not that bright, so he doesn't need a PhD in physics.
Okay.
1. Number 2, she's not the most beautiful woman out there. which means he's not doing this properly. He's not.
He
He's
likes
not,
her. They went on
don't make decisions based on things like that. He's made a mistake. This is what if the wedding was held today in Torrance and they said, does anybody have an objection? Let him raise his hand. I would have run into that church. If it wasn't heavily guarded by the Coldstream Guards, I would have run into that church and say, wait, you're making a mistake. You could do better than Markle. Because she's not that beautiful, she's not that bright, or he's not that bright and it doesn't matter to him.
So what about being simpatico? What about marrying somebody that you actually like as a person?
I already answered that. If she loves you, she'll put up with your shit. Hey, Markle, I want to go surfing today. You want to come with me? Sure, I love you. I love hanging around with you. I hate surfing, but I'll do it anyway. So this is a big mistake.
So you think they're not going to stay married?
I have strong opinions about this. I care more about this than I do about the Iran deal.
Have you ever been married? No.
That's because I'm playing by these rules.
Yeah, and not doing
I know
well,
too
not
much.
well.
I know too much.
All right, so there's an alternate way of saying all the stuff you said, some of which is horrible, which is if you're a guy, or if you're just anybody who's wanting to have a partner, be your own best self, improve yourself, which will raise your odds of being able to find somebody that you like. No guarantees, but also be kind in your evaluations of other people. Because there's what I call the girlfriend fallacy, which is, a guy thinks he's an 8. And so he thinks he deserves a partner who's an 8 in kindness, in looks, and in intelligence. But those things, as you said, aren't necessarily correlated with each other. So, it's not reasonable to expect everybody to meet everyone, to check off every box in your box of wants and expectations. So when you are dealing with people, instead of looking for somebody who is the best in every category, look for somebody that you can live with and have a good relationship with, or who's willing to work on a relationship with you, and that you can stand.
And if you're the prince, and you can pick any woman on earth, go for looks and brains, unless you're a dumb redhead prince, and then the brains don't matter that much to you. Because clearly they don't. Let me tell you something. One of the ladies in Star Trek that was really gorgeous went to Oxford. She's brilliant and she's beautiful. Not only is she brilliant and beautiful, but she had very large breasts, which doesn't always come into that package.
Who, Persis Khambatta?
I don't know the names of the Star Trek ladies. Oh, no, not that one. The English one in one of the films. She was only in one of them. I think she plays, I don't know who she is.
Brooke Shields went to Princeton.
There you go. Well, I don't know how bright she was. I don't know how she got into Princeton.
She's freaking, what do you want? She got into Princeton.
No, but I'm saying there are women
I know
at
the
the
guy
Ivy League.
married to Brooke Shields, and I think he's very happy with Brooke Shields, who seems to be plenty smart.
Well, there you go. Well, so what is this this Markle lady? What has she accomplished? Nothing, and he doesn't care.
What do you mean? She exited how many people get a TV series? She exited at the top of her profession. Carol and I went to a SAG event yesterday.
Okay.
And all right, like most people in SAG do not make a living from acting. You have to be a good actor according to the criteria for acting to be at Meghan Markle's level. She did good, and she did good in a bunch of other areas. She seems nice, she seems sweet, she seems not dumb, and they seem like they like each other. Imagine how much they have to like each other for frickin' Prince Harry and for her to put up with all the racial bullshit that goes along with being the first mixed race princess of England.
Trump was in the entertainment industry, right?
Yes.
So Merkel's in the entertainment industry. Would you equate them as both smart?
No, I don't think, no. I think Merkel would outscore Trump by 22 points on an IQ test, maybe 28 points.
We got like 40 seconds. Can you, just the last question is something that you really suck at.
What do I suck at? Concentrating, having sitz flesh. I'm completely distractible.
Lance?
I'm sorry, I can't answer that question. I was gonna say, well, I'll tell you the truth. A lot of women don't want to be with me because I'm too handsome and they think I'll cheat.
Subscribe to Lance versus Rick for more of this deep insight into human affairs. Thanks. Zia.